and welcome to the Flex with Aaliyah. Thanks for tuning in today's episode, Surviving Summer, Nutrition for the Holidays. There are so many fun summer holidays, and I think I even count some of the spring ones. I mean, we got Cinco de Mayo, we got Memorial Day, 4th of July, all the Pride Month events, then we got Labor Day, but the one coming up right now is 4th of July. And it doesn't matter what holiday it is. How the heck do you eat and stay super sexy for your summer body? Well, one, you should have been working on it beforehand. So, that dream went out the window already if you weren't working on it in the winter. But that doesn't matter. How do you survive all the fun cocktails, the summer beers, all the food? Oh, it's so good. I'm definitely more of a foodie than a drinky. So it's always the food for me. And getting by and still feeling okay in my body, sometimes that's hard. Because when we indulge, we feel guilty, we feel fat, we think we look bloated, we don't want to wear a bathing suit or something skimpy, and that just sucks. That sucks because we want to enjoy ourselves, right? Heck yeah. So, like always, I'm going to kick things off with a quote. And it's being healthy and fit isn't a fad or a trend. It's a lifestyle. So when these holidays pop up, whether some summer fun or even in the winter, you want to treat it as a lifestyle. That doesn't mean don't have fun, don't enjoy yourself, eat this boring boiled chicken and broccoli. No. That is absolutely not what it means. It means that there's a balance to it. Well, how do you balance it out? Because you want to eat the chips, you want to eat the cake, you want to eat it all. Okay, let's just back it up right there. It's just the holiday. And the holiday isn't really about the food because you can have that food any time of the year if you really wanted it. So I really like to consider, okay, this holiday is not about food, so why do I need to be a glutton on that particular day? You don't. There's a difference in overeating and enjoying yourself. And that comes down to self-control. And overindulging is when we feel really full and sometimes we keep eating and it's the next day we feel shitty about ourselves. And it does the complete opposite. In the moment, we think it's making us feel good, but it's not. In the long run, it's not. In the immediacy, like that 5 seconds of satisfaction that it takes for you to digest it and all the enzymes in your mouth to go through their processes, that's when you enjoy it. And you're like, yeah, that's satisfying. 10 minutes from then, or the 5 hours, that same elation is not there. So how do we handle these holidays? Well, really simple. I'll keep it super simple for you guys. At all these fun parties or events, there's always fat and there's always carbs at the food tables or the bars or beers, whatever you're drinking. Fats and carbs are the main things present at these gatherings, festivities, whatever you want to call them. The thing that's mainly lacking is the protein. Okay, so I wake up and I know I'm going to a party. I'm going to a wedding, 4th of July. Ooh, a nice juicy burger. Screw those hot dogs. I'm not a hot dog person. But a burger. Okay, that's protein right there. Ooh, but then the bun. Sometimes I save myself for the bun. So in the morning, and then there's fries or corn on the cob. And then I'm putting that butter and that salt on that corn on the cob. Oh, so good. Okay. I want to enjoy myself. I want to taste things. I want to try some of these things because sometimes people bring new things you don't get to have every day. So you want to taste test. Oh, I'm a super taste tester. I am definitely the person who will take a bite, throw it out, or give it to somebody else to eat because I want to sample. And if it isn't worth it, I ain't eating it. No way, Jose. Not worth my calories. I want something worth it that's going to satisfy me. And those little cupcakes from the grocery store will never satisfy me, so I don't even try them anymore. And that is that. You don't need to think like me, but sometimes that's a tip. Is it worth it? Is that cake from the grocery store actually worth it and going to be satisfying? Most of the time, it is not. But sometimes you go to these events where it's not from your typical grocery store. Maybe it's a bakery and they have these really good cookies, whatever it is. I always get a small piece first because then I can assess whether I like it or not. And the smaller slice that I take, then if I like it, I eat the whole thing. I don't feel guilty because I didn't take this massive slice. Now, sometimes I also share, so that way 2 of us are eating it. And then if I want to try something new, I'm going to go grab it. I'm going to go try it. Absolutely. But only if it looks good to me. Like, I'm trying to think of something I don't like dessert-wise, like candy. If they have like the orange slices that are coated in sugar, hard pass. Cakes, cupcakes from the grocery store, hard pass. It has to be a really good cookie or chocolate cake or ice cream. And, sometimes I'll let my boyfriend be the main taste tester to tell me if it's worth it. And I can tell when he's lying. You know when it's really good, you're like, nah, you don't want to eat this. Then you go get yourself your own slice. But so that's one of the tips that I can give you is do an assessment of what you like. You can try everything. Sure, grab a piece of every single dessert if you want, but then take a bite of each. And the ones that you don't like, just get rid of because they're not worth it anyway in the long run to satisfying you. That's why you didn't like it, right? And those are mainly going to be the sugars, the carbs, and the fats. So to prepare for that, in the morning and the afternoon, especially if it's like a later in the evening party, focus on getting your protein in. Whether it's eggs, egg whites, chicken, turkey, even some red meat. Red meat is higher in fat than the lean meats, of course. But focus on getting your protein in and maybe some vegetables because later on you're going to be having extra carbs and extra fats. So you want to have less of those in the morning or in the afternoon. So that way you have this extra bank. Like if you're someone who keeps your macros, that's how you balance it out. You have your proteins and probably you're going to have carbs no matter what. You can't just completely eliminate them. Vegetables are freaking carbs. So you have vegetables, you have carbs. It's just that I'm not going to have oatmeal or a bagel, an English muffin, rice, things like that in the morning or afternoon because I want to enjoy myself. I want to have some of those tortilla chips. I want to have that taco shell or this is not particularly me, but like people want the pasta salad or all those extra treats. So making sure you get your protein in the morning and the afternoon, depending on when the party is, will help. Because now you're not overloading on the carbs and fats by eating what you normally eat and adding the extra stuff at night. So that is a big tip. Get your protein in because you need it no matter what. Then the second tip is just knowledge. If you are eating stuff you do not typically eat, your body's going to have a reaction to it. Not like hives, but if you typically don't eat stuff that are high in salt, you're going to bloat. You're just going to have to deal with it. So the next day is not the day to go look in the mirror and be like, do I look fat, sweetie? Don't do it. You're probably going to feel a little bloated in your stomach because you had things you don't typically eat, and that is okay. Give yourself a break, man. If you ate the whole box of 20 cookies, okay. That doesn't mean shame. It means you probably need to dial back and have some other discussions with yourself because then there's an eating disorder going on right there. So you want to enjoy yourself and also know that your body's going to react to it and it's okay. It's okay to be a little bloated. We don't particularly like it because we don't really feel sexy during it. Men and women, both. Most people talk about it in regards to females, but men also bloat too and don't feel sexy sometimes. And that is exactly why you do not step on the scale that week of the party. Because if you're bloating, you're going to be retaining water. So stepping on the scale, you're not going to see a number that you really want. That doesn't mean it's going to say you've gained 10 pounds, but you fluctuate plus or minus 5 anyway, and now you're going to be retaining water. You're punishing yourself after the party if you step on that scale. Just don't do it. That is a huge tip, because you're going to look down and you're going to see that number and you're going to feel guilty. And then usually when that happens, you start to restrict your eating afterwards. So you're punishing yourself for enjoying yourself at the party. That's not a healthy habit to have. Enjoy yourself. Do not weigh yourself. And just resume eating as normal afterwards. You don't need to do a cleanse. You don't need to do any crazy diet afterwards. So sweet and simple. Get your protein in. Save the extra carbs and fats for the event. Know that you're going to bloat and have a reaction to the excess sugars and the higher sodium food products you're now eating. Do not weigh yourself. A lot of the times we obsess about these events more than what people will probably admit. And they're trying to look really good either in a summer outfit or a summer swimsuit. And leading up to these parties, you're doing crazy diets to look lean for a couple hours. You're doing more damage than good when you do that. And then you're punishing yourself afterwards for living your life. And if you do have an eating disorder, I highly recommend reaching out to a professional for help, because it is something worth talking about and fixing. And there's lots of varying eating disorders that you can have. That was a little bit more of a serious note, because that is a very important, prominent topic in the world in general and in racing and how people think about their food. That when you indulge, you punish yourself afterwards. And that goes back to my quote about being healthy and fit isn't a fad or a trend. It's a lifestyle. Things ebb and flow. There's balance in the sense of imbalances. Because I know I'm going to go have a cocktail at this summer party and eat some treats that have a little bit more salt and sugar in them than usual, I'm going to balance that out with what I'm eating in the morning. And the next day, I'm just going to go right back to my routine. I don't want to obsess over what I had. Sometimes, I'm not going to lie to you, sometimes I do. And I have to talk myself out of it because I know it's not a healthy thing to do. Like, that's really hard in this day and age. How can I... Like, you can think, how can I not feel bad about myself? Look at my stomach jiggling. I don't like how this looks. A lot of people really focus on the body parts that they don't like. Maybe it's their thighs, maybe it's their face, or their upper body, or their stomach. And we are our worst critics. What we see is always 10 times worse than what reality actually is. So when you go to these parties and these events, it's just a party. It doesn't define you. It doesn't label your body type. Nothing like that. So try to enjoy yourself, whether it's having a drink or two, whether it's having a cookie or two, or maybe you're just having a salad because that's all you want and there's nothing there that you like. That's fine. Don't stress about these parties. They are not your life. It is one day out of the year. So go out and enjoy it. That's the whole point of life. And it's filled with so many flavors. So go have a taste. Thank you for tuning into this episode of The Flex. Enjoy your 4th of July. Have fun. Follow, like, share, and I'll catch you next week. Bye.